All right, hello. Thank you for being here. My name is Carla Hernandez. I'm an admissions counselor at the University of Texas at Arlington. Just a little bit about me. I'm a former Fort Worth ISD student. So like you, I went to schools here in the Fort Worth ISD, graduated, and then just went on to college. So hopefully with this presentation, it'll give you a better idea of what UTA is like and if it's a school that you'd be interested in applying towards the beginning of your senior year. All right, just some UTA quick facts. We were founded in 1895 in Arlington, Texas. This is about a 20 to 25-minute drive from your high school if you take I-30, so it's really conveniently located here in the DFW. We are the largest university in North Texas and the second largest in the UT system, right behind UT Austin in terms of student population. And we have a student-to-teacher ratio of 22:1, meaning that once you hit your core classes towards the end of your sophomore, early junior year of college, that's when you're really able to get to learn from your professors and your peers. Now, we are number 6 in the nation for having a diverse student body, so you get to learn from people from all walks of life. And we are among the top 5 largest producers of college graduates here in the state of Texas. So one of my favorite things about UTA is that 90% of the students who graduate from the state of Texas actually graduate with the least student debt. And that's because we're able to give students a lot of scholarship opportunities here at UTA. Now, moving on to academics. Here at UTA, we have 9 colleges and schools with over 180 programs. So regardless of your interests, I can assure you that we will find you at least one program that is interesting to you. So the first of our colleges is the College of Architecture, Planning, and Public Affairs. Now, our architecture program here at UTA is currently ranked 16th nationally from where most architecture firms will actually hire from. So all of our students come in as architecture intended students. And by the end of their sophomore, early junior year, that's when they're officially able to declare themselves as architecture majors. And that's because they have to complete their architecture classes in a prescribed course sequence. Now, if you are a incoming student with a couple of dual credit hours, or if you are a transfer student, you will be in this program for 4 years. So just keep that in mind. You can't really work around it. You can't graduate early. You will be in this program for 4 years. Now, moving on to the College of Business. We have 18 programs for students to choose from. So you'll find everything from accounting to economics to finance, real estate, management, marketing, and much, much more. We are accredited by the AACSB International, meaning that we are recognized as being among the top 5% of business schools all around the world. So if you want a high quality education in business, UTA is the place to be. Now, our third college is the College of Education. Just some fun facts: 100% of the students in our College of Education who seek jobs actually get hired. And of that 100%, 96% of them have a pass rate on their certification exams on the first try. Now, we are ranked number 5 in the nation for having the best elementary education programs, but we also have mid-level, which is 4th through 8th grade, secondary, which is 7th through 12th, special education, as well as all level, which is for students who want to teach art, music, or PE, all the way from pre-K all the way through 12th. Next, we have our College of Engineering. Now, here at UTA, we have the most comprehensive engineering programs in North Texas with 11 distinct programs for students to choose from. So you'll find everything from aerospace engineering to mechanical, civil engineering, computer science, construction management, and much, much more. So some of you might be thinking, hey, Ms. Hernandez, why should I pick this engineering school over another engineering school here in Texas? Well, we have a fast track program for students to get their master's as soon as they complete their bachelor's, as long as they're able to maintain a certain GPA requirement. And what that means is that you don't have to reapply to the master's program at UTA. You're just going to be automatically admitted. Now, we also have a really great engineering alumni network that is always willing to hire fellow Mavericks, and that's because they know that you got a quality education at UTA. So I definitely recommend the College of Engineering. Now, moving on to the College of Liberal Arts. This is probably the largest of all of our colleges because you'll find majors in multiple departments. So you'll find everything from criminology, English, history, linguistics, theater, and much, much more. And just to speak about one of our departments, our art and art history department has one of the more popular majors, which is visual communication. And a lot of these students who are visual comm students are actually interns at some of our top agencies here in the DFW as well as throughout the nation. And the great thing about being an intern at these agencies is that a lot of these agencies hire as soon as you graduate. So they see the work that you provided and they'll want to hire you straight out of college. So the great thing about College of Liberal Arts is that we try to get you connected to the best people so you can get a job right out of college. Now, moving on to our College of Nursing and Health Innovation. The National League of Nursing here actually selected UTA as being the 2020 Center of Nursing Education. And that's because our faculty met the gold standard that the National League of Nursing holds. So what this means is that we have top quality professors teaching our students. And when you have top quality professors teaching, you get top quality students. 91.3% of our students actually pass the NCLEX exam. And we're actually higher than the national average of 88.56. So we're very proud of that fact. Now, to be in the nursing program here at UTA, it is a two-step process, meaning that you have to apply and be admitted to UTA. And once an admitted student, you have to complete your 4 required natural sciences as well as your prerequisite courses with a minimum GPA of a 2.75. Towards the end of your sophomore, early junior year, that's when you're officially able to apply into the nursing program. So just keep in mind that to be a nursing major at UTA, it is a two-step process. And moving on to the College of Science. The College of Science here at UTA provides the best research opportunities for freshmen. So what that means is that our students can join in on all of our research groups as early as their freshman year. And that looks really great on a resume. So we have programs in biology, chemistry, geology, mathematics, psychology, and much, much more. For some of you, you may be interested in pre-med, but you don't have to major in biology. Just know that it would be a great stepping stone if you do. Now, we do offer a pre-med program specifically for freshman students called JAMP, and these freshman students have to apply to the JAMP program and to UTA early. And when I mean early, you have to apply to JAMP. I believe applications open in April, so you're able to apply into JAMP and then apply to UTA so you can get that opportunity. Now, what JAMP does is that you get special internships, you get MCAT preparation, as well as personalized mentoring. So if you're interested in that, just know that you have to be a Texas resident who qualifies for FAFSA in order to be eligible for JAMP. And it's really selective with only 2 to 4 students being admitted on an annual basis. So yes, please apply as early as possible. Besides that specific pre-med program, we do have other pre-med tracks that happen towards the end of your sophomore, early junior year. So if you miss out on that opportunity, you still have time. Now, next we have our School of Social Work. Our School of Social Work was actually named the #1 best college for social work majors back in 2019. And the great thing about our School of Social Work is that when you get your degree, it provides a lot of flexibility. So you can work with children, you can work with the military, with the elderly, and people with disabilities. I don't want you guys to just think of social work as CPS work. That's just one small side of social work. You can work in so much. Now, here at UTA, once you're admitted to UTA, you'll be able to declare yourself as an official social work major towards the end of your sophomore, early junior year. And that's because you have to complete all of your prerequisite classes with the C grade or better. So just keep that in mind. And next we have Honors College, which is a diverse community of student scholars from all types of majors. So some perks of Honors College here at UTA is that you get first day registration for classes, you get to go to special honors events, there's special field trip opportunities, and you have special scholarship opportunities just for you. So when I think of Honors College, I think of it as like the AP world of college, because it's a lot of students who have really great grades and they want to be among like-minded people. So if you are a junior and you're in the top 10% of your class, or you have a 3.5 GPA or better, and if you take the SAT or ACT scores and you have really great scores, you can apply into Honors College. You just have to meet one of those requirements. Again, Honors College is super great, special scholarship opportunities just for you. So definitely take advantage of that. And moving on to facilities, here at UTA, we have amazing facilities for students to use. Our College Park Center is where most of our students graduate. This is where we hold our graduation. But we've also held high profile events. Like one year we had Drake singing to our students on campus, which was super cool. We also have held our MAV speaker series where we invite several influential people from all around the world to come speak to our students and inspire them. Like, for example, we had Bill Nye on campus one year, which is super cool. And we also had Sally Ride, who was the first woman in space. And, College Park Center is where our men's and women's basketball teams get to play on campus. So it is awesome to see your fellow Mavericks playing on campus. And I don't know, the facility here is state of the art. So if you are one of those architecture students, you'll find it to be super cool. And moving on, we have our Maverick Activity Center, which is where our students get to go work out and hang out. We have several indoor and outdoor basketball courts, a sand volleyball court, a pool, and much, much more. So if you guys are interested in that, you know, as long as you have your UTA ID card, you can swipe in with your ID card and go as many times as you want. And we also have our smart hospital, which is where our nursing students are able to practice safe skills in a safe setting. So for example, we have these automated dummies that yell out in pain, and usually students are able to, you know, test their skills on them without ever actually hurting an actual patient. And so the smart hospital is where our nursing students are able to test everything before they move on to the actual hospital rounds. So if you ever find yourself on campus, do a smart hospital tool because you get to see all the great gadgets that we have available for our students. And lastly, we have our Fab Lab, which is located at our central library, which is where our students are able to use our screen printers, our laser cutters, our sewing machines, and much, much more. So again, as long as you have a UTA ID card, you can swipe into the central library and use this facility as many times as you want. Now moving on to housing. As a freshman, you're not required to live on campus your first year, but if you choose to live on campus, we do have 5 great residence halls for you to choose from. If you don't want to live in a residence hall, you know, that's totally fine. We do have other housing and apartments available for you to choose. The great thing about living on campus and in the area is that a bunch of these students join in on our living learning communities, and that's how they get connected to their tutors, people in the same major, as well as their professors. So it's super awesome. I didn't live on campus, but I've heard great things from my fellow coworkers who did live on campus at UTA. And moving on to dining and meal plans. If you are a freshman living on campus, you are required to have a meal plan. And we do have 2 great dining halls on campus. One is located on the east side of campus and one is located on the west. If you choose to get a meal plan, you know, these are the options you can select. The great thing about all of our meal plans is that there is a set amount of money set aside that you can use at one of our restaurants on campus. So if you want to get a quick cup of coffee before class, you can use those dining dollars at Subway, but we also have Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Starbucks, Subway, Panera. So all those options are fantastic. And moving on to resources. Here at UTA, we want to make sure that students are as successful as they can be at UTA. So we offer free student resources that are covered completely by tuition. So the first of our resources is the Division of Student Success, which gets students connected to their tutors as well as their academic advisors. We also have our Lockheed Martin Career Development Center, which is where our students are able to find internship opportunities and get help with resume building. And we understand that transitioning from high school to college sometimes can be difficult. So if you need to speak with someone about your mental or emotional concerns, we do have counseling available 24/7, whether it be in person or over the phone. And we also have our library technology loan, which lends out equipment to students should they need it. So for example, let's say your computer has shut down and it won't restart and you have an assignment due at midnight. You can just go to our library and they will lend out a laptop or an iPad or whatever you need in order for you to be successful. And lastly, we have our Office of Information Technology, which helps students access important accounts. For example, your MyMav account is where you want to register for your classes. So if you're locked out of your MyMav account, they'll help you access that. If you need to get into your student email, they can also help you with that. So again, all of these resources are completely free, so take advantage of them while you're at UTA. And moving on to student life. Here at UTA, we have over 290 organizations for your students to choose from, and we really like seeing our students involved on campus. There's always something going on in the morning or in the evening, and that's because all of our organizations are, working hard to get stuff done. So if you're interested in joining an intramural sporting team, let's say you want to play flag football with some friends or soccer, anything like that, we do have these leagues available for you to join in on. And we also have religious organizations as well as community service organizations and Greek life. So if you guys are interested in doing anything like that, we do have that on campus. When I was a student at UTA, I was part of 3 organizations during my time. And if you look here on the left-hand side, the girl with the purple bandana, that's actually me with my sorority sisters. So it's super fun to stay involved with your community. For example, at this specific event, we raised $300 for one of our local women's shelters. So that was really fun. And if you're interested in joining one of our professional teams on campus, let's say you want to play basketball, you want to do volleyball, softball, baseball, or do track, let me know and I can get you connected to one of our coaches on campus and they can tell you how to try out. We are a D1 school in the Sun Belt Conference, so it's really fun when we get to play schools here in Texas as well as other states. Now, during the first and second week of every semester, we have our Maverick Activities Fair, which is where we have all of our organizations in one area, and students who are on campus are able to see all the organizations. They can jump from table to table and see if there's something that is a good fit for them. Regardless of where you guys go, let's say you choose UTA or if you go somewhere else, definitely recommend that you join at least one student organization because it makes your time in college so much more memorable. And moving on to campus and virtual visits, we do have several campus and virtual visits available for students. So we have in-person tours, self-guided tours, as well as virtual tours. So if you're interested in doing an in-person tour, you just have to register online and they'll give you a date for you to come on down to campus, and we will have our student tour guides walking around campus to show you all the great stuff that we have available. Now, if you find yourself on campus and we don't have an in-person tour available, you can download the guidebook app, and basically it takes you all around campus just by using your app. In regards to our live virtual tour, we will have a tour guide walking around campus and you will be from the comfort of your own home. So you can use your laptop, your iPad, your phone to do one of these visits. All of these visits are really great. So I recommend that you do one before you decide to come to UTA, if you come to UTA. And next we have financial aid and scholarship opportunities. So we have a couple of scholarship and financial aid deadlines. So if you're a high achieving student, let's say you have a 3.5 GPA or better, it is possible that you qualify for one of our merit scholarships here at UTA. So we have three. We have the Presidential Honors, Presidential Scholars, and the Maverick Academic Scholarship. There's always a deadline, a very important deadline that you guys have to submit all of your admissions documents in by. And so I always tell students, if you think that you are eligible to receive one of these scholarships, please apply as soon as possible. And when I say apply soon, I mean apply in September of your senior year, apply in October, because we need all of your documents in by these dates for you to be eligible to receive one of these scholarships. So the earlier you apply, the better. Financial aid opens in October of every year. So if you are a US citizen or a US resident, you have to fill out the FAFSA application. Again, it opens October 1st. So the faster you do it, the better chance you have of getting money for the following year. If you're a student who is not a US citizen, or if you qualify for DACA, you can fill out the Texas application for state student aid. And if you notice here, there's a priority deadline. So it would probably fall around January 15th of 2022, not 2021. So the sooner you do it, the better chance you have of getting money for that school year. Now, besides your merit scholarships, let's say you didn't get enough money for the school year and you're like, well, what other scholarships are available? Well, we do have internal scholarship opportunities here at UTA. So when you apply and are admitted, we automatically create a profile for you. And so what that does is it narrows down scholarship opportunities based on your major and your interests. The only difference between these merit scholarships and these MAV scholarships is that the MAV scholarships may require you to submit a couple of letters of recommendation, or they may require you to submit an essay. These merit scholarships, as long as you apply and you are admitted, you will be eligible to receive one of these. Now here, for example, we have one MAV scholarship that was available this year, which was Univision Tu Futuro. It's possible that this will come back next year, so just keep that in mind. This specific scholarship required a student to submit an essay and to submit their FAFSA or TASFA. So every scholarship on MAV scholarship has its own requirements, so I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Now moving on to cost of attendance. Here is a chart of tuition and fees, as well as our other fees on campus. For example, for one academic school year, tuition and fees could be around $11,620. So if you half that, it's around $5,810 for the fall, $5,810 for the spring. Now, depending on your major, your books and supplies fees can look a lot different. For example, I was a history major at UTA, so I didn't have to pay $1,000 for books. I paid at most maybe $100 per semester. And that's because I was able to rent books and I was able to go to the public library to get my books. And so I saved some money there. But if you're in a more demanding program, program where you have to buy certain items. Let's say you're in nursing, you might have to buy your own stethoscope, you might have to buy certain books that are, have to be updated every year, and you might have to buy your scrubs. So it's going to be more on that pricier side. Again, as a freshman, you're not required to live on campus, but if you choose to live on campus, this housing and meals cost would be roughly what a student would pay their first year. And for transportation and personal miscellaneous fees, I usually tell students this is what you would set aside for your own, stuff. So if you drive your own car, obviously you have to pay for gas and insurance. So this would be roughly what you would set aside. And then personal miscellaneous is like if you have health insurance or you pay your phone bill, this is roughly what you would want to set aside. So really, on average, a student can spend between $18,000 to $28,000. But again, it depends on your individual circumstance. And some of you might be thinking, wow, UTA sounds cool and all, but, I don't know if I'm financially ready to move on, or I don't know if I have my grades right now to want to go to UTA. Well, we do have this fantastic program called TCC to UTA that takes into account your needs and desires to build a pathway that'll make sure all of the credits you take at TCC will transfer to UTA. So when students apply to TCC, they think, oh, I'm just going to get my associates. And by getting my associates, I know that all my credits will transfer. That's not necessarily the case. There has to be a course equivalent at TCC and UTA in order for your class to transfer. So make sure that you speak with a transfer advisor at TCC so they can make sure that all the classes that you want to take are transferable to UTA. We will also have UTA counselors at these TCC locations about once a month. And so you're able to ask them questions, like, oh, well, how do I apply? Oh, well, what am I missing? They'll be able to answer any questions you may have. So TCC to UTA is a really great pathway for all students. And lastly, these are the admission requirements and the application process. If you are in your senior year, again, you guys are juniors, but if you're in your senior year, you can apply to UTA using the Common App or Apply Texas. Now, there is a priority deadline every year for students to submit their documents by, but we are offering rolling admissions, which means you can continue to apply to UTA up until August of 2022. So please have all your documents submitted by February 14th so you can be eligible to receive some of our merit scholarships. Now, if you're a student who's in the top quarter of your graduating class, you will have automatic admissions to UTA. And if you're a student in the second, third, or fourth quarter, your application will be under individual review. And what that means is that we will look at your class rank, we will look at your GPA, and we will look at the difficulty of the classes you've taken in order to make an admissions decision. Now, we will be test score optional for fall 2022, but I usually tell students, like, if you have an SAT score, if you have an ACT score, go ahead and submit those scores to us because they can help us kind of review your application with a little more information. So let's say you don't have a really good GPA, but you do really well on the SAT or ACT, submit your scores to us and that can help us get you admitted faster. If you submit SAT or ACT scores, it could also help you get a higher scholarship packet. So please submit those scores to us. And so thank you all for having me today. This is my contact information. It is carla.hernandez@uta.edu. And I always tell students, please follow us on our social media handles because there are certain dates that you can apply to UTA and we will waive your application fee completely. And there's also other dates where we give students free swag for UTA. So please follow us on our social media handles. Let me know if you have any questions.